Alright, guys, welcome back to the podcast. Back to Tomboy Official. On this episode, I don't even remember if I started a gender series. I'm considering going back and labeling the gender related episodes, making it say gender series. Just so people can kind of find it more easily. I don't know if that helps to kind of have that parentheses after, because I've been kind of recording other stuff. So I do want to talk about kind of this topic about kind of freestyle on the fly recording about gender, kind of an experience type of topic. So I kind of specifically want to talk about the gym, kind of experiences at the gym that come up, if, at least for me, possibly for other people as well. And, so yeah, it's not meant to be triggering or anything, but some people might find some of it triggering, maybe if it's somewhat related to, I wouldn't say like harassment, but things along that line. If you don't like hearing that kind of stuff, there might be something that's a little related to that type of topic within that realm, but it's not going to be entirely like that. But yeah, I hope, I don't know, I'm trying to find ways to kind of organize things, because I'm not really super organized with this pod. I kind of just throw things out there. Today I was like, man, I wish I had more in my mind. I wish I had more kind of inspirations, so I can just tell you kind of what happened today, and I was kind of reflecting on it when I was editing the I guess written podcast information for the Mask for Mask episode. So basically I wanted to talk about this experience at the gym. It wasn't bad. So I wouldn't say I don't think I really had anxiety. I was kind of more like feeling like matter of fact about it, because it's just something that occurs so commonly. But for some people, I think they would maybe consider it almost like a mild form of near harassment, or a type of like I don't know, like almost like a harassment of some form, just from being, if you're kind of like different. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. But to me, it's kind of almost like a lighthearted topic, but I could see how it could definitely become something of a challenge to try to deal with. So, I go to the gym when I feel like it, basically. I try to go a couple times a week at least, but I don't know, sometimes I'm like, the one I like has, there's two near me. I've talked about them before. One of them has better parking, because it's just like one open spot, one open top level parking lot, and then there's like a lower level, but it's inside of a shopping plaza, and so there's like restaurants and stuff in there, so you could technically park as far as you wanted and still be like, you could still walk even if you parked like a few stores down or a few units down or whatever. You could still walk across the parking lot, versus this other one that's kind of got two parking levels allotted to it, if you want free parking. Otherwise you have to like park and cross the street or like do some weird version of like trying to get into the gym. And the parking does fill up pretty quickly, and then there's like this machine where you have to take the ticket. But for the gym parking, it's free, but it's like still you got to get the ticket. So it's kind of like an annoying kind of a system versus just parking where there's no parking fees, nothing like that. Nothing. You just park and there's plenty of parking. So that's already one thing that helps me decide which gym to use, is depending what time of day I'm going. Now I try to get there near 10 a.m. Usually I have better luck finding parking before 10. I've noticed once it's a little bit after 10, a lot of people start coming in, and that's weekends included. But, you know, there are certain peak hours where it's like, one gym I know I'm not really going to find parking too well. And I found this out the hard way the other day when I went to the gym on a Friday night, because I don't think I'd ever been to the gym on a Friday night, because I'm usually out hanging out with friends and socializing and not trying to go out on a Friday night to the gym. And so, you know, I went probably around 6 or 7 p.m. one night, and I was like, dude, like, I couldn't find parking hardly at all. And I didn't know that was like really a peak time. Now I know Saturday mornings and Saturday afternoons are pretty peak time as well. And usually Saturdays or Sundays early morning, or just Sundays in general, tend to be pretty empty. And then there's some times during the weekday, usually when it's like before 5:15 p.m. or so, usually it's easier to find parking unless it's like lunch, or maybe like there's some people who go before work, and then the rest of people who don't really do the 9 to 5, those are usually the other people who tend to fill in the other times of the days. But usually that's less people, it feels like, and usually it's like there's usually this window between like 9 and 10 a.m. where the parking's okay. But the thing is like the gym isn't that crowded. Like you can still go in when the parking lot is full and the gym's not that crowded. So that's already one thing, right? And then another thing that helps me decide is like one gym has like a sauna, pool, jacuzzi, steam room, that kind of thing, and like a room with for cycling, and it has like they both kind of have that, but I mean one of them has a specific room for cycling, the other one has the cycles in the room where it's kind of like that. It's a 24-hour fitness, so it's kind of like that open wooden workout room, studio room, you know, class room that usually has like the wooden floors. So usually that it just depends what time of day. That might not be open when there's classes, or like sometimes it's just like weird in there, like there's just not a lot of like open space. So sometimes I like to be in there, sometimes I don't. It really just depends. And then yeah, with the pool stuff, the jacuzzis, the steam rooms, whatever. And so one thing that I'll just explain kind of what happened today. And it wasn't even, nothing bad happened, but it's just based on past experience. So today I went to the gym. I mentioned it when I was recording for day 29 of the Lily Singh Be a Triangle book. I mentioned kind of like that I was on my way to the gym, trying to get there near 10 or whatever. And you know, I go wearing kind of like what I wear. Now sometimes I think outside of, you know, like I do kind of have it in the back of my head somewhere, like, okay, the style of clothing that you dress in, you know, people might assume things about you when you're walking into the gym. And especially because it's a very gendered place, and it's not only just that there's a restroom with toilets, but, you know, there's locker rooms and showers, and, you know, even like the pool area, it's like, you know, people are wearing bathing suits in the pool or in the jacuzzi, or sometimes in the sauna or steam room, they'll come in and out from the pool, or just like have, you know, some people take off their shirt or whatever, or wear like a bathing suit or whatever. And then sometimes, you know, like in the other parts of the gym, for the most part, people are like fully clothed, unless it's like the occasional person taking off their shirt, or like, you know, like if there's someone with like who wears like a sports bra and maybe like some short shorts or something. But I'd say most people kind of wear one top, one bottom type of thing, and then on occasion you'll see somebody with their shirt off, right? Like bare chest shirt, you know, bare torso. And so, and usually it's the cis guys that have a shirt off. If it's anybody, it's the cis guys. Um, uh, and so, yeah. And so we kind of all, I think those are just normal things that most of us probably think about, right? So basically, this experience today, you know, I like before I left for the gym, I kind of considered that. I kind of considered what I was wearing, but I was like, I just want to be comfortable and wear what I feel like. So I have these board shorts that I had. I had socks, sneakers. I don't know what socks I wore. Usually, I like to wear socks that have kind of like colors or designs or different kind of graphics on them, but these socks I think were specifically just like active socks, just low cut active socks. Um, and I had a t-shirt and a fitted LA cap. It was basically like Dodgers, but not really. It was like, it's not the classic Dodgers one. It has like a different design to it. It's got like this reflective material and everything. But it's the same color, the same like blue that the Dodgers have, blue and just like the gray with a little white. So it's the same thing as the Dodgers. So I'm in the elevator, right? I park. I'm in the elevator to get to the gym from the parking, because you have to do it that way. Or you have to walk like all the way around. I don't know, there's like the stairs, but it's just the elevator's usually how people get up there. The elevator's already confusing because it's got all these weird labels on it that don't make any real sense. It's got like letters, like P and then like a letter, and then like these levels and all this kind of stuff where you're just like, you know, if it's like P3 or P2 or P1 or whatever, where you parked, like everything seems like it's ground level parking because of how you drive, so it's just a little confusing sometimes because it's only really one level, but then it's like technically it puts you on like the second or third level. Like I don't even understand, I don't even know how to say what I'm trying to explain, but basically it's a weird parking lot, to say the least. It's a real weird parking lot, and it's busy. I went to the gym that had the busier parking lot, and there were like 2 spots to park in total, you know, when I was parking. And so yeah, so there's that. And I go into the elevator. This old kind of Asian man, he's like, "Oh, are you a Dodger fan?" And I was kind of just like, "Yeah, just like, you know, I like a good game. Like, I like a lot of sports. So I like a good game, you know, and I mostly just root for LA teams. Like I like the Dodgers, you know, like I don't hate them. Like I wouldn't buy a hat. Like I mean, I bought it more for the LA emblem than for the Dodgers specifically, but I do like the Dodgers. I mean, I would say, you know, if I do watch baseball, I usually go for Dodgers or Padres. Padres, I almost go for them out of pity because I feel bad for them because San Diego only has, for professional national teams, they only really have baseball. So I kind of go for, you know, I started watching MLB baseball because of San Diego, because I was like, well, when I'm in San Diego, if the Chargers aren't there, and then like, you know, I had a friend that I used to watch games with him all the time. He was a really big fan of baseball, and so I kind of got into baseball. And then, you know, LA has so many sports teams, so it's like I love watching sports when I'm watching LA teams because there's so many teams to watch. And so the guy was mentioning, oh yeah, baseball season's coming back, and I'm like, oh yeah, like that's good, like already, you know, like that's good, you know, and that's nice, you know, because I haven't watched baseball in a while, and you know, I'd like to watch it. I know football just ended not that long ago. I don't know if MLS soccer started back up. But yeah, like, you know, the sports ending and stuff, I kind of like it when they start back up. I don't know if WNBA started back up again yet, but, you know, I liked the end of that, and I plan to kind of follow along more with it this coming season. and I kind of want to get into MLS with some of the newer teams that I don't really know. My dad was trying to explain it to me. I was kind of not really listening too much, but um, yeah, like I like watching MLS too. But yeah, I'm wearing a Dodgers cap in the elevator, go in the elevator, and this, explaining to this guy that like, yeah, I like the Dodgers, I like LA, and I just kind of made a comment as the door was opening. Yeah, this year is flying by. This year's going by pretty fast, because I'm like, I can't believe it's already like mid-March almost, pretty much almost the middle of March. So, that's kind of the conversation in the elevator. Casual but fine. Like, I don't mind talking like that in the elevator. It's fine. I go in. I was only really going to use the elliptical or do like cardio for like 30 minutes and then sauna and then kind of split. But I ended up doing 20 minutes of elliptical, like combo of elliptical and bike. And then maybe another 20 minutes in I tried to stay in the sauna, but it was pretty busy and there was only like standing room, so I went mostly into the steam room. But I kind of went sauna for like 5 minutes, then steam room, then like sauna again for like maybe like 2 minutes or whatever, and then back to the steam room, and then left basically. When people came into the steam room, I kind of left when there were more, because there were like already 2 or 3 people when I first came in, but then 2 people came in, and I was kind of like already over it by that point, so I kind of just left. But it was fun. It was nice being in there while I was in there. And then, so yeah, I was enjoying my time, at the gym. But, when I first walked into the locker room, I already knew I had my cap on, and I was dressing like I was dressing. I came in and, just went to the locker, put my stuff in my preferred locker, had my locked it all up, did the elliptical and the cardio stuff, went and did the steam room sauna stuff that I just mentioned, and then, I'm going back to get my stuff, and I go into the locker room to, I'm just like, I wasn't going to fully change, and I wasn't sure if I was going to, because I was going to go straight home and take a shower pretty much, but I brought an extra t-shirt with me because I thought I was going to stop by Best Buy because I was looking for this SIM card tray adapter thing. And I was going to go to Best Buy, but I ended up not going. I was like, let me just go straight home because I was kind of like sweaty because the steam room is like, I know a lot of people know what steam rooms are, but it basically just feels like humidity. And so basically the ceiling's a little bit drippy, but then basically it was just steam. And so, my clothes were pretty damp from that. And my skin was pretty damp, wet, kind of dripping from that. And so I was like, well, I'm not like, I didn't do that much at the gym. I didn't go hard at all. I was just moving, getting some movement in. Just the amount that it would be like if you took like a walk around the block or something like that. Like I wasn't really doing like a whole bunch. I was just moving a little bit. I might work out like fully tonight or like get in some like weight, like some lifting exercises or something at home tonight or some yoga or something. I probably won't, but I might. It would be nice to do that, but I might not actually do it. So yeah, this was like yeah, I go and, so I'm just going to change my t-shirt because I didn't bring extra shorts, extra underwear, whatever. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to go straight home and not go to Best Buy anyways. So I noticed somebody was in the way that the locker was facing is like when I was facing the locker, taking my stuff out of the locker, my back was toward like this area where behind me pretty much there's like this hallway that would go like, if you go to the right, there's stalls for the toilets. If you go to the left, there's like sinks and like the hand dryer thing. And so I kind of just was there, with my back turned to that hallway, and I was kind of just like changing my shirt basically, and I like from that you can kind of see like from behind me you can kind of see the sinks. Like if I would have turned my head, I'd be able to directly look like back towards the sinks where there's like the mirrors. And so, and I try to get the same locker in that area just because like there's really not a whole lot of foot traffic right there. Like people tend to be in the middle side or the other side that's closer to the pool and the showers. And so like sometimes I just like a little space. Like I don't like to be changing when there's like people like all right there. Like I don't mind it because it's like we're just in the gym, but it kind of just depends on how I feel that day. Like some days I'm like whatever, and then other days I'm like I'll even go as far as like changing in a stall or whatever. But it's like usually unless I'm really going somewhere, I don't really change. But because I was kind of like moist and I had an extra shirt with me, I was like, let me just change my shirt real quick. It wasn't a big deal. So I kind of looked because I heard that somebody got out from one of the stalls, and I kind of was like, in my head, I'm like putting on my shirt and whatever. Like I'm like looking like away from the mirror, from the mirror and the sinks like behind me, and I'm kind of like taking my lock off the locker, putting it in my bag, like putting my stuff back in the bag. And I'm thinking in the back of my head about the person who got out from the stall, and I'm thinking like I didn't see who went in. I just heard toilet flush. You can tell somebody opened the door and came out, and I was like, I'm thinking in my mind, when I turn my head, is this person going to be like staring at me? Because they may have seen that I had a cap on the whole time I was at the gym, or like when I changed my clothes and I went and put my cap back on. I don't know in what sequence, like if they saw me once I had already changed and I had my cap on, like are they staring at me? Are they looking at me, kind of thing? And I wasn't like nervous or anxious, but I was just kind of like, I wonder, and I turned my head, and like the person was using the sink that was further down that end of the hall. So like there was a little wall blocking it, so I could hear the sink and then the hand dryer thing, but I couldn't see the person. So I was like, well, there's nobody directly behind me. But I can't tell you how many times, like the reason why I'm mentioning this is because and I don't think I'm really upset about it. It's just awkward. But I can't tell you how many times I've turned my head to catch somebody's eyes in the mirror, or I turned my head to catch somebody just like staring directly at me, and or whatever. It could be anything, but I mean this happens often in locker rooms, and I'm usually walking, like my eyes are usually like down. I'm just minding my own business. Like I look around to like see what's around me. Like I'm not walking with my eyes closed, but it's like, and I'm not there. Like I'm not interested. Like it's kind of weird. Like I have like an on-off switch. I have like, there's nothing in the gym that like attracts me to people. It doesn't matter if they're nude or what, like, or in the little bathing suit or what. Like, and when I'm in the gym, I'm in the gym. Like there was somebody that I saw that had a little outfit on that I was like, oh, that looks nice, and they have like a nice figure, and that's as far as my head went. And that's when I first got into the gym. It was the person who was in the locker room with me, who they left before I did, and I was kind of walking like quite a few feet behind them, and I just noticed the outfit of the person in front of me. Like I wasn't like looking at them in like a sexual way or anything. I was just kind of like, oh, they look nice, and that's basically as far as it went. Like you could tell they had like an outfit. They didn't like just roll out of bed disheveled or whatever. Like they looked like they put themselves together and they came to the gym, and I was like, it was noticeable that they looked well, like they looked like they were, they just looked nice. Like they tried today, like it looked nice, and that's all I really had to say about it. I don't know what they looked like from the front. I wasn't like checking out their ass. It was nothing like that. But I don't really look around the locker rooms like that. I'm not like looking around to like see what I can see, kind of thing. Like usually it's just the opposite. I'm just like, oh God, I hope people don't think I'm looking at them or something, That's always something that's kind of in my mind, that I'm just like, I hope nobody thinks I'm looking at them, because I'm not, I'm not like trying to like look at them like that. Like the extent of my looking is just like, to be aware of my surroundings. Like if something does go weird, at least you could be like, oh, it was the person with the red shoes or whatever. Like I'm not trying to like really get like, you know, into, I'm not like providing data for the spank bank, nothing like that. Like my eyes are open, and I'm walking like a normal human would walk in any other part of any place where you're trying to get from point A to point B. It's basically I'm there because I don't want to change in my car or change in the street or change in the middle of the gym. Like I'm there just like anybody else, to put my stuff away, lock my stuff away, change, wash my hands, use the bathroom, whatever. I'm just there for a purpose. But I can't tell you how many times in locker rooms I've kind of caught people staring, caught people looking. Like I'm kind of like, I don't know what it is. It might be my clothing style that people don't expect. It's like I don't know what they expect to see when I take off my clothes. It's like, this is how I look. Like, like there's nothing surprising about it. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I understand. I mean, I don't think with my clothes on I look like a guy. Like I've got a bit of a figure to me. So if you actually are looking and using your eyes, you will notice that I have woman parts. Like it's obvious. It doesn't bother me, but it's just kind of one of those things that it's like, I have hips, I have boobs, like they're not non-noticeable. I don't even have that short of a haircut, in all honesty. Like my hair's not that short. And then when I'm wearing a cap, you can still see my hair like sticking out all over the bottom of it. Like but I'm definitely, I'm not very femme-ish. Maybe in my mannerisms sometimes. I'm somewhere in the middle. There's just kind of a lot of stuff that's like a little like, I get that people, especially old people, like I think I mentioned at like when I was trying to find the gym in one of the Vegas hotels, I was trying to find the gym, and I guess I just used the tower I was next to, and I think I was supposed to go to an elevator of another tower. But like by the time I got there and everything, I was like, I don't want to spend more time looking, because I really only wanted to spend like 20 minutes getting in some exercise, and me and my friend were going to meet up. So I was like, well, I still got to take a shower and everything. But I was like, I have extra time, so let me just get in a little bit of exercise and then, shower and meet my friend. But we're cutting into 20 minutes already. Like I'm not going to try and find the other tower. Like by that time it would have been like 10 minutes left or something. And so I didn't really want to do that. And so I basically I didn't I basically didn't I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, what I'm trying to say. Kind of lost my train of thought. My mind's a little bit wandering. But yeah, like I don't really know what that is, but I can't really explain how many times, like I catch somebody's eye. Oh yeah, I was talking about the Vegas elevator. Like that, there was like this old lady. Like there were like 3 of us in the elevator. I was in the elevator with some other person. No, there were 4 of us. And then there was like another lady, and it looked like maybe her mom. Like there was a younger woman and like a really old woman who got in, and the older woman was standing like closest to me. But there were only 4 of us, and we weren't crammed, and it was just awkward because she was like facing me. Like it was really weird. I'm like, she's literally like facing me and like staring up like at my face. And because she was shorter than me, like she was like shorter than like my shoulder, like she was pretty short, and she was just like staring at me, and like I caught her eyes, and she was like looking like at my clothes and just kind of like looking, like moving her head, like looking around me, and I'm just kind of like, what the fuck, like. But I kind of think that there was a reason why she was doing, like, I don't know, like I'm just like, what is wrong with her? But I'm like, man, like I didn't know what to make of it, and like just situations like that where you're just like, seriously, why are you just like staring? And so it was just kind of, it was a little bit funny. Like I was a little like annoyed because it was like, okay, like mind your business, turn around, with the elevator thing. At the gym, it just kind of depends, like maybe where my own confidence levels are. Like sometimes I don't really mind somebody being like, oh, like looking or whatever, but I don't really know if other, people who were assigned female at birth and hanging out in the gym, I don't know if they experience the same thing, if like every type of female experiences that, or if it's just that maybe there's a little, I always assume, okay, there's a little bit of confusion that I'm causing here with my clothing style and kind of like my choices of clothing. And the cap, I think, sometimes throws things off, but I have been wearing it more because my hair is kind of fluffy and it's super windy all the time. And I noticed that because we're in Southern California, my hair gets a little like sunburnt. I put oils in my hair and stuff, and so I don't think it's really like good to have the sun like baking your hair, so I kind of wear a hat a lot when I know I'm going to be outdoors, and not just like inside somebody's house all day long. I tend to wear a hat lately. I've been doing that for a couple years now because I noticed my hair was turning like bright. It was kind of getting dried and like turning like bright, kind of like orange almost. It was just getting sun bleached basically, and I was like, I don't really mind it. I don't mind the color, but I feel like the texture was changing because of it, and it was kind of making my hair a little like I was like, I don't think this is good for my hair, and I don't really like switching up products like way too much, but it started happening a lot more. I think especially since I was indoors so much during the Rona, like maybe my hair just got no longer as used to being in the sun all the time. But also I just don't like my hair blowing all over the place. And it's kind of, my hair is like fluffy and it's not heavy enough to really go back into place. Like it doesn't flop back down, it just sticks up and stays there. And so, and I don't carry combs like that and stuff. It's just easier just to wear a hat. Just like, it just keeps everything in one spot. And then if it's windy, my hair's not just like looking like Bart Simpson or Don King or something. Like it's just, it looks fine. Basically, it looks fine. Or about as good as it's gonna get for the most part. Like my hair is already like prone to messiness. I've always had, my hair has always been like a little bit like wild. I tame it, I do comb it before I leave the house and stuff, but sometimes I just don't want to like gel it down and stuff. I don't like having a whole lot of like, products in my hair like that for like days and days and days. So if I don't want to wear gel, I'll usually wear a hat. That's usually what it is. And so, yeah, but it's just kind of weird. And it's not only the hat. Like I don't think a hat makes you that much more. But I mean, I've definitely had a lot of experiences of being people getting a little confused. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm not aware of how I look. I don't really know. I don't really think I'm losing weight. Not significantly. Like, my clothes are fitting a little bit more like I want them to fit lately, because I am eating a little better and getting a little more exercise, but really I'm not like doing anything too intensive. But I would expect that over time, there's going to be some slight amount of losing weight, but I don't think it's significant enough for my figure to change so much that people would be like that confused. And I don't think it's like that confusing. Now, if I want to talk about restrooms, I don't even know. This could be different. This is like a different. Bro, I don't know. I don't know if this is controversial to even say, but restrooms where there are women, and usually when there's a line, I've definitely noticed, especially when it's like bars and clubs, I've definitely noticed almost without fail that somebody's gonna start a conversation. They want to talk to you and get your attention, and I don't know what it is. Like, it's happened at EDM festivals, at the porta potties. It's happened at pretty much any gay bar or club I've been to, or any um, even straight bars and clubs. Like, as long as there's a line, I've noticed usually women will talk to you. And I'm not saying it's like a romantic thing. I mean, I've definitely experienced some flirty people in the lines, in queer spaces, but that's kind of how it is. Sometimes people are going to be that way. I don't really know. I'm just like, thank you for the compliment kind of thing. But I usually am there just to use the bathroom. I'm not there to try to hook up with anybody. Well, that's not true. I don't go specifically to the bathroom line to find people to hook up with. I can't say it's never happened with people that we met before the bathroom line. But yeah, I'm not like purposely like scoping people out in the bathroom line or whatever. That's not really what I'm there for. But I just think it's kind of funny sometimes, like in bathroom lines. Like, I feel like I've lately not had anybody too concerned, when I'm going into the bathroom. I haven't had anybody like catch me and be like, oh, like, this, sir, like, you're going to the wrong one, sir. It's like, don't call me sir. But I feel like I've had people talk to me that didn't really know what to think, and then I started talking, and then they were like, oh, and like, I'm pretty nice to people. I'm pretty friendly. Like, if people engage me in conversation, I usually want to be there, unless they're being like weird. But I usually want to be in the conversation, even when it's complete strangers. I appreciate it, just like vibing to some music while in line, talking, waiting for the bathroom. Yeah, I've never really been that like I'm not like standoffish or anything, but like, I don't really know if it's like that with guys' bathrooms, if guys socialize in line, but I've definitely noticed women socialize in line. But it's interesting though, because I've almost never opened a conversation. Like, I've overheard conversations in front of me and maybe chimed in a little bit, or had something interesting that was happening maybe like near me where everybody was witnessing it behind me, and you're just all kind of like, I kind of look back like, oh, like, what's going on here. But yeah, I don't usually initiate conversations. But I don't know what it is that why people do that. Like, I can't really make too much of it, and because I look the way I look, I can't tell like if it's coming just because of how I look, or do all women just talk to women in the line? Because I don't just start talking to people in the line, but if people talk to me, I'm totally open to it. So just kind of how I am. But I've had some great conversations in the bathroom lines. Like, they've been pretty interesting. And I think just about all of them, I've totally appreciated the small talk. Like, it was like fun small talk that I was like, wow, this person has a little, that was kind of an interesting way to open up a conversation. Like, I don't know, I find it hard to kind of open up conversations with people that I've got nothing to really say. And usually if I'm drunk or stoned or both, and there's loud music all around me and just a whole bunch of people around, I'm usually not too, like, it's hard for me to really think too clearly about like that much stuff. Like, it is a little difficult for me to like think clearly about like new things to say. Like, I'm totally losing my social skills. I can feel it. Like, I'm really just not socially like the most alert and like aware, and like I'm very good at talking to people that I already know, but when it comes to new people, sometimes I'm just like, my brain is just so blank. Like, I'm just like, dude, I'm not used to talking to new people too much anymore. I don't have anything to say. Like, most of the things that I do, I don't really want to be telling people if I don't know them. Like, I don't really want to say what I do with my free time and all that kind of stuff if I don't know you. Like, you know, I guess I don't really care who comes across this podcast, but it's also kind of weird. I don't want to be like in some bathroom line and have somebody be like, oh, like, like, what do you do? I'm like, oh yeah, like this is what I've been up to with this podcast, and then have somebody ask me for it, and then like start listening or whatever. I mean, I guess it's not really a big deal because it's not like I would know who it is, but it's still kind of like I don't like outwardly talk about it like to people and like try to get them to subscribe or whatever. Like I just don't like it's like I don't know. Like there's a lot of stuff I do where it's like, you know, since I'm not like formally working right now for a company or a 9 to 5 or something like that, like, I'm not really, yeah, since I'm not like formally working, I kind of don't have a whole lot to say, but, yeah, I'm a little, I'm a pretty shy person, I would say, but it's still kind of funny though, how I've noticed, things with bathrooms and locker rooms. There's kind of like a little, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Um, it's just, I don't know. I don't like drawing attention. I'm not like the type of person who wants people to pay attention to me. Like, I try to dress the way that I'm most comfortable, and I like colors and things like that. And maybe my clothing style is just so crazy that people just have to like look at it. It's like, what the fuck are you wearing? Like, but I don't really think it's that. I would hope to God somebody would tell me if I'm really like that off with what I choose to wear. I'm not wearing like polka dots with stripes and like plaid, like I'm not like that. Like, I'm not like making it so mixed up that it like doesn't make any sense or that it should draw any attention. So I don't know. Like, maybe it's just the colors because I like neon and like bright like colors. Like, maybe that is what people look at. Like, I don't really know what it is. I don't really know. It's just weird to me. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who's had this experience. It's just kind of like a weird thing to experience. And it's not even like bad. It's just kind of like it. I just kind of noticed though how often it happens. When I was in the locker room today, and I was like, I wonder if this person's like staring at me, and I went to like turn my head, and I was like, oh, they're not even like, I'm not within like eye shot of them, but I had expected fully that this person would have strategically chosen a sink and been like staring through the mirror like while they're washing their hands. Like, I can't tell you how often that happens, and it's like, just people staring is weird, and it's like, I don't know why the hell you're staring. Like, what are you looking at? And like, I wish I could ask people, like, what are you looking at? And I don't think they even know what they're looking at. Like, I don't think they consciously know what they're looking at. They're just looking. Like, I've looked at things before or people, when I've seen them, like, I'm not like staring, but it's like, to be honest, like, if somebody has like a cane for like hard of seeing, or like some kind of like, like a wheelchair or something like that. I'm not gonna say I don't notice it. Like, I don't know how long I look. Like, I try not to stare, but it's like, I think just because I don't see it all the time, I do probably gaze at least longer than I would at just like Joe Blow wandering down the street, I think it would probably catch my attention, and maybe that's what happens, is that like the way I dress catches people's attention, just because of the style of it. I mean, I can't really think of what else it would be like, because it's but I don't know, like, other than the weird staring people like the old lady in the elevator in Vegas, I feel like it draws a different kind of attention. Usually people know I'm different, and they kind of maybe compliment something, or they kind of try to talk to me a little bit about like random, like I don't know if that's normal. Like I can't tell if it's normal, but it's just something I've been noticing. Is like, why are all these people trying to like open up conversations with me? Like I don't know you, and it's always just like small talk, like at a register, or like in a line, or like in a line to like buy something, or even like specifically like in the gyms and in the bathrooms. I definitely notice a lot more conversation, and just people just looking, gazing, but not staring. Not like too hardcore staring like that. Like I just don't know what it is. Like maybe it's because I'm not usually like, I don't think I'm usually just like staring at people. Like I don't know. Maybe that's just normal that people just stare at each other, and I'm just now like figuring it out more recently. Like what the hell is going on? But I don't really know. It's kind of weird to me. I mean, I'm not like that young, like it's kind of weird. I'm in my late 30s, so it's kind of like, I don't know, but I don't know what it is, man. Like, I don't even want to get into talking about people and their curiosities at the moment, but I think that is something that's gonna have to come up. I feel like I talk about it too much though, but I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to like complain or make this into like some big deal, but I'm just curious because it is a little confusing, For I get confused, like maybe they're confused, and then I'm confused about like why are they confused, like because in my head, I'm normal, This is me being normal to me, but I do know, like I do have an awareness that like other people think and feel differently, or like are aware of me and might think that I perceive things a different way, or wonder how I'm perceiving things around me, or what, Like I'm not unfriendly. Like when people engage me in conversation, I totally just want to talk to them, and I'm pretty sure that they catch that energy and then they just want to talk. Like I rarely see somebody who, I start engaging in conversation and then they just kind of like totally misunderstand it and, get offended or whatever. There was that one lady who felt the need to tell me that she was straight. But I mean, like, other than her, like, there aren't really that many people that seem to really not want to. The people who do open conversations, they seem to want to be in that conversation. And usually they're the ones who started it. Because, like I said, I don't usually start conversations. Like, I'm not, like, trying to get anybody's attention. I'm not trying to, like, draw attention. I'm kind of confident in myself in a way, like not really, because I'm a pretty shy person, and some days I just don't have a lot of confidence some days, but then most days I would say I just kind of walk around and I'm usually pretty chill and just doing my own thing. But I don't think I seem standoffish. Like sometimes maybe I would prefer to be seeming more standoffish, or want to be standoffish, but I don't think I'm usually standoffish. So it's just kind of interesting to me. When stuff comes up, I'm just kind of a little like, oh, this is weird, like this is weird. And it's kind of something that I feel like it happens enough that it just makes me think, and I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I don't know where it's coming from. Maybe women are just chatty and like to look at things. Like I don't really know. Like I'm a woman, but the thing is weird is like I don't do that. So that's why I'm kind of like not too sure like about, like I don't open up conversations with people and I don't stare at people. Usually it's because I don't want people to think that I'm like interested in them in some kind of way that I'm not. Even when I am interested in somebody, I really, unless I'm like together with them, I'm usually not like staring at them or checking them out or whatever. Not in a way that they can like notice it. And it's pretty rare that I just see somebody out in public that like catches my attention. Like, there was a day where, I don't remember how long ago it was, where I was driving through a parking lot and I was like, oh shoot, like, I almost did another lap just to see. Like, I was like, I wonder like where they're going. And like, there was just something about somebody's attention that totally caught my attention, with like their clothing style and their just the way they looked. I was like attracted to it. Just like, I was like, I want to see more of that. But I was like, I'm not gonna like drive around the parking lot again just to like look at this person. Like, but yeah, that rarely happens. I'm even like when it would be like some obvious thing, like usually I'm not really that interested like that all the time. Like, even if it's like somebody on the beach, like in a bikini or in like a thong or in like a speedo or whatever, and just laying there, like, and their body's like totally like chiseled or whatever. Like, I mean, I could be like, oh, they have a nice body or whatever, or they're really confident, or I like their skin tone or whatever, but I'm not usually like sexualizing people like right away. Like, I don't think I really do unless I know them a little bit, and then like my brain doesn't really kick in to like really care if I don't know anything about a person, unless it's someone who's like purposely trying to get your attention, like go-go dancers and those types of people. Then it's like, okay, they know what they're doing, they're trying to get your attention in that way, and I appreciate that. But the other people, usually I'm just going about my business, and at the most I'll notice somebody or something that I find attractive, and I'm like, okay, cool. But usually for me to be turned on by something, it has to be more than just like they look good. Like, like, I'm usually not too, like, probably like 99.99999% of the time, like, just seeing somebody without any other kind of context, I usually couldn't care less. Like, maybe there was a time when I did, but lately I just don't. Like, there's nothing about somebody that just purely physically, like, unless I get in my head about it, like, usually if I'm just looking, it's not gonna be something that's too you know like, it really, I don't really sexualize stuff like that too much. Like, I can tell when someone's attractive, or if I'm like literally out to try to meet people at certain things. Like, I say, like, at Pride, like, yeah, at Pride events, I've definitely got my eyes open in another way. And in some spaces and some types of events, I'm like, my head's already there. But usually, nah, if I'm just out for drinks with friends or whatever, like, I'm usually just trying to chill with my friends. Usually I don't know how I feel too much about people coming up to me, just like talking to me when I'm with my friends. I feel a little awkward about it. Like, I don't know, it depends on the friend group, but the friends who I usually hang out with in gay spaces most of the time, I kind of don't tend to like to talk to people when I'm with them. I feel awkward about it. I don't really like people, like, I don't know, like, there's this one friend of mine who tried to set me up with some girl, like, at Pride or whatever, some random girl that she just met, and it was just like, hey, my friend's over here, and just like, she was kind of asking me, like, that friend had asked me, like, what's my type, and then, they just looked for somebody who looked like that, and just pushed them over in my direction, and I was just like, dude, like, I'm not interested. Like, it was awkward. I don't remember what I said. I just, like, said, hi, nice to meet you, kind of thing, and just, like, gave him my number. Like, I didn't even ask. I was just like, let me give you my number. I was just like, I'm not trying to, like, just please go away. Like, like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, get away from me. But, yeah, like, I'm not really good at meeting people on the fly like that or whatever. But I did see once, maybe like another time, where I was with a friend and I was talking to somebody who was next to me. But I tend to like to talk to people who smoke or vape. Because I get interested, like, what are you vaping, like, what is it? And I always hope it's weed, but usually it's not. And a lot of times it is, but usually it's not. Usually it's like some kind of like e-cigarette type of thing. And so, like, but I like the scent of them. Sometimes I like if they smell like fruit or whatever. And so I kind of asked somebody once, like, kind of like, hey, what's that? You know, and like, and my friend kind of noticed I was kind of talking to this person, so they kind of like left and went like away. But I wasn't. It wasn't like I was just kind of interested. I'm like, I saw they had like a number. They were waiting for their food. I'm like, well, you're gonna be here a while if you just came and like sat next to me or whatever. But then they left. So I'm like, well, maybe, maybe, maybe they didn't want to talk to me, or maybe it was taking a while too, and we weren't having like an extensively long conversation. But yeah, those are like the few times that I'll usually start a conversation, or like I mentioned, like smoking patios, or like if I just feel like it. Like sometimes I feel like it, but usually when I'm with my friends, I don't. There have been a couple times. But I don't know. I don't even know what to say about any of this. Maybe I'll figure it out someday. But it's just one of those things that, like, I'm pretty sure other people have experiences. I'm pretty sure people have, like, a lot of people have bad experiences that are similar or that go too far or worse. Like, I know when I first got into content by Jess, Jake Killem, Jkiillem, when I first got in touch with their content, I think one of the videos was about, you know, when she went into a changing room at a store or something, like to try on some clothes, and you know, somebody, you know, made a big deal out of something and she called him out on it. And then there was another time, like, I don't know, like, I've had people ask me, like, when I buy clothes, like, I hardly buy anything in stores anymore, though. Thank God for online shopping. Now I can just buy whatever the fuck I want, and I don't have to worry with people commenting. But basically, like, I would get that a lot when I was, like, probably in my 20s. Like, you know, I would shop at places in the mall, and they'd be like, oh, is this for your boyfriend? I'm like, no, like, it's for me, bitch. Like, basically, like, I don't know. Or they'd be like, oh, is it for your brother or your boyfriend? Or, like, where? And, like, people were always, this is, like, almost 20 years ago, you know, like, or 15, 20 years ago. People in those times were a little more, like, there wasn't really wording around things that everybody used. And so people would more so say, they would kind of like say something. They would kind of just like say topics. I don't know what they would say, but they would just kind of say stuff. And they would kind of ask about boyfriends or ask about your relationship status or like whatever. Kind of similar to how my aunts are. Like, you know, when they talk to me, they're just like, oh, like, are you dating any nice young men? It's like, no, I'm not. You know, I'm not dating any nice young men. You know, but it's just kind of funny. Like, I've noticed sometimes, you know, people do kind of say that. Like, sometimes there's like an assuming way, like they're asking you, you know, why you're purchasing something that's from the guy section or whatever. Or other times they're just like trying to figure out like what's going on. Like, if you talk about your relationship status or whatever, it kind of gives them a clue of like what's going on. Or maybe they're trying to open the door. Like when I was talking to that trade, what's that thing called where you get like the timeshares, that timeshare person in Vegas. Like, basically, they were kind of like, I don't know if you date, like, men or women or whatever. And, like, I could tell that they were kind of, like, looking at me, like, you know, the reason why they were saying it like that is because of how they saw how I was dressed. And they were kind of like, I don't really know what to think about this person. But I think people get it, you know, overall. It's like, well, I mean, it's a little obvious. Like, I'm not, like, trying to hide it necessarily. Like, I can downplay things and neutralize it a little more. But I don't really know how I would describe my clothing style. It's like somewhere between just came from the beach. I really don't know. I don't really know. It's I don't have a lot of words for it. I like colors. I like kind of more what would be considered more femme type colors, but with more mask fitted clothes, if that makes sense. But usually not like older men kind of clothes, like not like what guys would wear to really dress formally, or like when you're older. I kind of tend to like the styles that are more like not childish, that's not the right word, but I find them more fun. Like button downs, for example, I prefer the patterns on like the ones for like teens versus the ones for like, like men that are like older than that, I just kind of like the patterns. But yeah, those are the kind of patterns of things I prefer. Um, like I wouldn't say that I dress like specifically mask, because there's a lot of femininity about the things I wear. Like the guys who are my age do not dress the way that I do. Like I don't know any guys who are my age that dress like I do. Um, I mean, if they came over and needed like a spare pair of clothes, they could use mine because it would fit them probably. But I don't know that many guys who dress like I do. Like I remember once I had a friend who, well, I still have the same friend, but like we were gonna go play tennis, and I was just like, I'll bring, like he was just like, oh, I forgot to bring a change of clothes, and I was just like, I was like, well, I have an extra change of shorts, like if you want to use them. But they got there before I did, and then they were already playing, and so like they just like didn't really care. But yeah, it was kind of like, like I think most women can't say that to their guy friends. They're not usually like, yeah, I have a pair of shorts if you want to borrow them, like booty shorts or whatever, or other kind of like very femme type of shorts, So I don't really own any of those. I don't think. I mean, if I do, I really don't know where they're at. I don't think I own any like that, actually. I don't. I don't own any shorts like that currently. I know in the past I probably have. I don't know if I wore them. I really don't remember. Um, I don't really know. Um, like I don't know. I'm not really against short shorts. I just like longer pockets, if that makes sense. Because I like to put my stuff in my pocket. So that's the only thing I really have against short shorts. Like I like short shorts. Wearing them myself. I don't like tight shorts too much, but I like short shorts. But I just have never found like loose fitting short shorts that have big pockets, and I also don't look for them too much. But I do have some shorts that are a little shorter than my normal ones. I know around in a lot of places right now it's probably snowing still, and so for me to even be talking about shorts is completely ridiculous. But I mean, Southern California, even with the storms, the weather has warmed up slightly, to where it's about 70 degrees in the house when it's sunny outside. So it's a little warmer now, and I'm starting to get out in the sun more. Like I'm trying to strategically be in the sun. Like tomorrow we're supposed to have rain, and the next day too, so I'm trying to kind of stay outside. This afternoon I'm recording, podcast episodes and stuff from my car, just because it's sunny and it's nice, and like I said before, I don't like thinking that people can like overhear me from inside the house. I kind of like to have a little bit of space. I know it's noisier out here. You can probably hear the traffic, and like kids get out of school and they're like walking, and then there's like always sirens and ambulances and all kinds of things. But that's what happens when you podcast in the city and you don't have any other place to really record. But it's chill for me. I'm chilling out here and enjoying myself, and I'm wearing freaking shorts and a tank top. But the clouds are starting to roll in. Probably should have had some sunscreen if I'm gonna stay out here any longer, even though it's probably too late at this point. But yeah, I wasn't out for too long. But yeah, that was just a topic that came to mind. I don't know what people really think about it. I don't know what people really experience. I mean, I know that people have negative experiences out there, and I just didn't really want to record about all that because, I mean, I know it's triggering for people, and it's just stuff that I'm like, I'm really not in the mood to record about, like, I've had other episodes I recorded about like negative types of experiences, so you can go back and find those. Like, luckily for me, I don't think any of that has changed lately. Like, I haven't had like negative experiences lately, other than the lady in Vegas. But I don't really understand. Like, whatever. Like, it wasn't really a big deal. It was like a few seconds of my life, and she didn't really do anything but act weird. She just acted weird and did something strange. But sometimes I kind of wish that I could just like open a conversation with these people and just be like, what? Like, what are you looking at? You know, like, because I'd like to know. I'm still not fully clear on like what they're looking at, but I don't know. Um, but yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. Um, yeah, I don't know. I know that there is a kind of curiosity, and it's not only like a sexual thing. Like, it's not like a sexual curiosity necessarily, but there can be that with people. They can, have that, um, which is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's kind of like, I think people should also be aware that other people pick up on this stuff. Like, just because they're interested in something or curious about something or want to look at something that's different, like, I understand that, but at the same time, it's like, I'm a human, and like, I notice that you're staring, like, I notice it and I don't know what to think of it. And like, even if you're doing no harm and you're just in your mind having whatever thoughts it is that you're having, I don't know what your intentions are, and it's just kind of confusing. I just don't know what to even say about it, because it's not like I'm like running around the locker room like naked or anything. Like, I'm usually just like quickly changing, if that, and like getting out of there. Like, I'm not on my phone. I make for sure I don't keep my phone anywhere in sight or in use. It's either in my bag or in my pocket. At most, I'll remove it from my pocket and put it in my bag, or remove it from my bag and put it in my pocket. I don't even like turn on the screen, like nothing. Like, I try my best not to be like using my phone or anything, because I don't want anybody to like think that I'm like taking pictures or whatever. Like, I hate it when people have their phones out in the locker room. That to me is like, put your damn phone away, like, you don't need it, or that kind of thing. Like, I don't know, I don't know, like, it's kind of weird. Like, I guess this is the last thing I'll probably say, like, maybe TMI, but like, I haven't really had like a lot of like traditional locker room experiences other than in my adult years. I would say, well, yeah, like in school, but I think I've explained that locker room before, where I went to school. I think in one of the episodes where I was talking about like sexuality and kind of like the religious environment I grew up in, and how they kind of felt about body image, and like how they felt about, people showing their bodies, almost to a point that like they would advise you to like bring bathing suits for after, gym class, so you could like put on your bathing suits or whatever. Or like they, I've heard of schools where they make you shower after or whatever. Like, you know, and people having experiences that aren't maybe positive in those types of situations. Like, I've definitely had people, talk about that kind of stuff. Or, I've definitely experienced kind of like weird school type of experiences where there's like strange kind of situations like that, where they're like, oh, like they kind of like teach you to have like shame about your body almost, like just by the way they kind of like mention things. But that's how it is. That's how religions are. Like, you kind of expect that from a religion sometimes, even though I feel like they should be more positive, but sometimes they're just not. But yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, when I was younger, using the locker rooms for junior high and high school PE and stuff, it wasn't like that big of a deal. It was just kind of like a space to kind of be able to go to change, like, I didn't really think much of it. I didn't like it. I didn't prefer it. there was one. I remember there was this one person who was like, we're like the same age, but they had a birthday like 1 year ahead of me. I mean, sorry, they were in one grade ahead of me, but we are like technically the same age. I started school in a different state when I was really young, and so I've always been kind of like one. Like usually, the people in my main cohort in school were usually, I was usually 1 year older than most of them, but usually there was like one or two other people who were like 1 year older as well. Like it just depends. Some states, I don't know if they still even do that, but some states there's like a cutoff for your birthday of when you can start school. And so basically, like when I graduated high school, I was 18, or I was turning 18. No, I think I was already 18. I don't remember, honestly. Now I can't remember how old I was. But anyways, yeah, it was always like 1 year different. Like me and my brother are 2 years apart, but we're one grade apart. Like technically in school we were one grade apart, if that makes sense. And so, because I started school in another state and he started school in California. And so basically, yeah, like when I was growing up around locker rooms with like PE and stuff, there was only just that one person who would be like, oh, like you younger people using the stalls or like whatever, because there would be stalls with toilets, and usually I was like, well, I would always use the bathroom, you know, and I would change, I don't know what order I'd do it in, but I would get my stuff from the locker, my PE clothes from the locker, go to the stall and use the bathroom and change, and then, you know, just kind of like, you know, put my other clothes back in the locker and then go to the PE class. But I don't remember, like, but yeah, like to me it made sense. It's like, well, if I need the bathroom anyways, I'm just gonna go in the stall anyway, so I might as well change. And there were enough stalls, like it was never like super packed to a point where you were causing like a line or anything, but sometimes they would be like, hurry up kind of thing. So sometimes that would be the case, but usually it wasn't that big of a deal. Just her, she was the only one that would like say stuff, and be like not directly to anybody, but she'd kind of, I don't know, I don't know how to explain it. Like the school was like weird, and so you know how schools usually with like, if you've seen that show, that series Freaks and Geeks, how it's like the freshmen get kind of hazed by like any other, you know, sophomore, junior, senior, like upper class level, you know, people. But because our school ended, it was a junior academy. It ended before your high school 12th grade year, and you had to like finish high school elsewhere. Basically, there were two grades. I think junior high school is 6, 7, 8, right? But we had 7th and 8th grade with 9th and 10th graders. So once you were in 7th grade, you started using the older kids' locker rooms and the bathrooms that were in that locker room area, versus the little kids. Those were indoor bathrooms. They were a little bit nicer, not that much nicer, but they were a little bit nicer. The other bathrooms were on the back field, like outside technically, and they were just like stalls with sinks and no locker room, because they didn't have to like dress down for PE or anything, and they didn't have showers in them or anything. But these, you know, indoor ones did. And so it was basically like a small locker room with some shower spouts on the wall, and one of those middle ones, circular ones, kind of similar to the ones you see at the beach. But nobody used them because they were like right next to the changing area, and like you'd be basically just like naked in front of everybody changing. And just because it was mostly because of the religion, like people just didn't do that. Like unless you were maybe by yourself. Like, I feel like I'd used the showers before, but not while I was, like, with anybody in there. I feel like maybe there were some sleepover, some like, I feel like maybe there was a time where, like, we used to have parents parents that were kind of like that had kids that would like chaperone, you know, some of the parents that were like more connected to the school, like if they needed to throw like a slumber party or something, they'd do it. Like they'd borrow the keys and like get like the gym mats or something, and like you would have like a movie night in the gym and like watch a movie projected on the wall. This is like in the 90s, so this was like a big deal to watch a movie like projected on the wall or on the screen that you would use for like chapel or something. Like you would like sleep like out in the gym or whatever, and there'd be maybe like 10 friends or whatever, and it would be like a chaperoned sleepover kind of thing, but not at a house. I feel like we had something like that once, where like a friend's parent hosted something like that and had access to the bathrooms and stuff, and I feel like we used the shower, but we kind of individually went into that bathroom and like locked, I don't know if we locked the door, but I feel like we would have locked the door or shut the door, and then like used the showers in that locker room like alone without like a whole group of other people in there with you. But I never remember using that shower with other people in there. I feel like I did use it before, because I know that it's cold water. It's not hot water. But I feel like I've used it before, just maybe once or twice ever. I just don't remember any specifics. But I just did always find that odd, that it's like, I had expected when I started like 7th grade, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to use the locker room and we're going to shower after, you know, gym. And like, I wasn't like looking forward to it necessarily, but I was like, this is going to be a weird experience. And, you know, then I realized, oh, the older kids don't use the showers. Like, nobody's using the showers at all, you know. We had uniforms. So we had PE uniforms, and we had uniforms that we wore for school uniforms. So our uniforms had like the shorts and the t-shirts, or you could get sweats, and they had like the school logo on it or whatever, or the school initials or whatever it was, and the school colors. But yeah, I don't know, I'm not like disappointed. I just feel like it's weird, because like I know there are other schools and other places in society where like the things I'm talking about are like completely not even normal. Like, it's normal to go in a shower and use the shower after the gym. You know, even going to the gym that I go to as an adult, you know, I've used the shower there plenty of times. Usually it's like if I use the pool or the jacuzzi, or if I'm going somewhere after where I'm not going like straight home to shower, like I'll use the shower. And then, you know, I used to keep like a towel, and like I do keep flip-flops still in my gym bag, but I used to keep a towel as well in my gym bag. And then, you know, in case I wanted to jump in the pool or whatever, I would always have my extra stuff. But I don't really know. Like, I think that's about all I have to say. This is long, but I think that's about all I have to say. But yeah, it's just interesting to think about, like, especially like how people look at things. It's a little interesting, you know, and you know, I'm sure I'm not the only one who has had these experiences, because, you know, I've been, you know, I still have friends that I speak to that I used to go to school with that, you know, they all kind of grew up similarly to how I did, but it was just a culture of things. Like, it would have been more socially acceptable, to not use the showers in the nude than to be nude in the shower. You know, like, even though it has nothing to do with anything, like, you know, it's just interesting, because I was kind of raised more like that, you know. Like, I even remember going to the pool. Like, we had like a pool class that we did one summer where I was young, and my parents took me. I was probably like 12. I don't know how old I was, but maybe I was like 12. I was older than a lot of the young kids learning how to swim, but I wasn't like quite a teenager. I wasn't like 16 or something. But I remember going to the pool, and I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna get a swimsuit. Like, I think the day before we were gonna get swimsuits, or maybe my mom bought mine or something, and she was telling me that, like, she got one that had like that was less revealing, because it had like this, it was like a swimsuit that had like a skirt attached to it. So it was basically like you're wearing like a skirt and then like a top. 'Cause she's like, yeah, it covers more or whatever. And I was just kind of like, okay, like, cause I was gonna just wear the normal swimsuit, but I don't know. Like even when I go to the beach, like if I've had a one piece swimsuit. I just never bought a different one, but I've had a one piece swimsuit, and then usually I'd have board shorts on over the bottom or something. Like I usually didn't really, I don't know, because they give you wedgies and stuff. I never was really into just wearing swimsuits just like that. But there were certain types I liked. I never really minded the ones that were just like the bikini type of top, but then like the shorts on the bottom. That was like a style back when I used to go to like summer camp, and I used to like that style. But then, the Christian kids, like the ones that were part of the religion, weren't really allowed to wear like bikinis. You weren't supposed to have like your mid kind of showing. You were like one piece was like about as far as you're able to go. And not have anybody really like approaching you about it and telling you not to do that or whatever. Or if they didn't tell you to your face, like you would kind of learn, that's not really what they expect of you. But yeah, stuff like that, that's just weird to me. It's like I don't really sexualize things in bathrooms or locker rooms or with swimming type of attire or whatever. I'm not really into that. But I have found some clothing companies that like I have some maybe like friends and friends of friends who've worked for Dapper Boy in San Diego. They've modeled for that company, and I've had some other come across some other underwear type brands. It is becoming a little more popular. More mask women wearing kind of more mask style underwear or more like androgynous underwear. Because underwear are a pretty gendered thing. They have been up until quite more recently, when they have been having more like non-binary and like unisex type of underwear options. But underwear, swimwear, that kind of thing, it can be kind of harder to find, because it is a very gendered thing. It's almost just like when you're wearing like formal attire. Like there's really not a whole lot in the middle. It's either like you're wearing a suit or you're wearing like a dress. Like you're usually not wearing something in between. Or if you do, it's like you're the rare one who's doing it. It's not usually like everybody who's doing that, but yeah, it's something that I wonder. I kind of just wonder what other people think, what other people's experiences have been like. Like I said, I know some people have had like some not so great experiences, some terrible experiences, but there are experiences that are just like not like, to me, what I'm explaining, to me these aren't terrible. They're just kind of like my day to day, and it's just kind of interesting to me, because really there's nothing about me that like would draw like much attention for people like looking at me. Like I don't have like a giant mohawk. I don't have like anything about me that's like, other than I probably stand out just because of how I am. It's like usually I'm the darkest person around. Usually, I'm the only one who's kind of dressed like I'm dressed. I kind of just have a way about me that's just a little bit different than a lot of people around me usually. And I get that maybe makes people want to look, and, they just look because they're not used to seeing this type of person. But I don't know. Okay, I said like 20 minutes ago that I was done talking, but alright guys, till next time.